Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel. Today we've got Oscar in the chair. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm alright, can't complain, mate, can't complain. So what are we doing? What's the plan?
So I'm going to go a little bit shorter for the summer now.
Okay,
4 months ahead.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take the length off and my girlfriend's begging me.
Oh, okay, no worries. What have you got in mind then? How short are you thinking?
So I was watching a movie there the other night, Place in the Pines, with Ryan Gosling. So
Alright.
I think I want to do like something that kind of short. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah.
So you know that kind of like, not like super short, but like a blade or anything like that.
Yeah,
maybe. Or you might have to take it down, I don't know.
Yeah, we can, I can look at the length on that, but yeah, okay. Something along the lines of that type of style as well, yeah.
Something like that,
okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sounds good, mate. Okay, no worries. Let's have a look here then. That's what we're doing. No. Okay, yeah, it will work. Yeah, it should work.
Think so?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's quite a top, to be honest, it's quite an on-trend hairstyle as well, to be honest. Leave it to me I'll try and copy that length as close to it as possible, unless you want to go shorter on the back and sides or the top. What do you think?
I love the sides length, and I think that the top is nice because it's not too short.
Yeah.
But it's also not too long that you could try to like almost like neaten it a bit.
Yeah, you could always wear it over to one side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could always do that.
Yeah.
It is just kind of top heavy cut. It's kind of very top heavy hairstyle, but then obviously you can connect it in to the other side as well. But obviously you've got a fringe as well, so that's one thing we can work on. So I think when we pick the length on the top, I think the best way to do it is looking at where the fringe sits on that picture, right? And his fringe sits just on his eyes. So that's the best way to kind of go from you, for it to suit you, is to cut it so the fringe sits on the eyes, just about there.
Perfect.
Okay? And then that way that will still come over. So there'll still be enough length in there for that to still fall over. All right? Back and sides, I was thinking maybe just a bit of freehand clipper work just to cut it right in and get it to a similar length to that.
Absolutely,
yeah. All right, man, cool. We'll get you gowned up and we'll get started.
Do it, yeah.
Sweet. Right, guys, so I've just wet down Oscar's hair. Now, I'm going to start by cutting in the top shape because I want to just graduate this down nicely on the sides and the back. I want it to be a very soft finish because essentially that is what Ryan Gosling's hair is like. It's very soft. It's almost, yeah, it's I don't know, when was the film based? Do you know what the time frame it was meant to be based in? Was it the 90s or something like that, early 2000s?
I think like early 2000s.
Yeah.
How's that kind of look to it?
It does. The haircut's similar though as well. It's a very similar haircut as well. So yeah, I'm going to start with the top and create the shape first, and then we're going to graduate it, because a lot of the time these kind of films, and especially in movies as well for continuity, a lot of the time the haircuts aren't always as harsh, just because it's easier to stay on top of. If you've got a fade every day, you know, it's quite hard to keep on top of, isn't it? You know what I mean? If the minute that fade starts growing out or whatever. So yeah, it's good for continuity, them kind of haircuts as well. Just nice and tidy, nothing too drastic, but just looks nice and neat. And that's kind of what I want to go for. A lot of sort of top heavy finish on top into a nice shorter back and sides. That's the aim. Find the length that works. Now, bearing in mind we've got the fringe here, so that's a good indication of how short we want to take it. So I'm going to pick it up through the back. And again, we need this to sit nice and heavy. All right, so I'm going to start off by taking, and I'm hoping this is the exact length that we need. So I'm just thinking how I want this to sit. I still want this to sit with, so you can still see the sort of length sitting through it here. So I'm going to take off about that much, because I think underneath there is a good length. All right. I'm going to be working on point cutting into the top here, because again, we want a very nice soft finish. Yeah, just working through the middle now. Just taking sections that are about maybe a finger in width. That's what we're looking for. So we're obviously taking quite a bit of length off, so we want to keep the sections nice and close. That's the best thing for it. So what's nice about this, so the cut as well, now obviously Oscar bringing in that picture, it's good inspiration because you know, you've got a very similar hair type, which does help. You know, you've got that kind of quite straight, a little bit of wave, but it's fairly straight, your hair though. Yeah, it's fairly straight. A bit like what his is like, you know, it's that kind of, feels as though maybe the texture might be a bit thicker. Obviously his hair is coloured as well, so it will sit a lot flatter because it's a bit more damaged, so it does tend to sit better. But yeah, I think you've picked the hairstyle for your hair type as well, which is really good. It saves a lot of time and effort trying to figure out what to do, you know, for me and you. So yeah, I think well done on that, mate. You know, it's always nice when someone brings in a haircut that is actually for their hair texture. sometimes you find that some styles just don't work, you know? They just don't, the texture isn't right, or someone's got curly hair and they want a straight hairstyle, you know? It doesn't always work. So that's what you got to just be quite careful of, really. But yeah, it's good, works out quite well. And what I'll do while I'm here, I'll cut the fringe in as well. Cut it to the eyebrows to let that fall. And as that dries, that should dry just on top of the eyebrow as well. Go.
It's a bit funny, I've lived over here for 2.5 years now. I've got my hair cut 3 times.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I got butchered each time I got my...
Oh right. So where would you go? Where would you go for your hair?
Different place every time.
Oh, okay.
So I go in, I ask for something, and then I end up looking like I had a fight with a head trimmer and lost. So yeah, I don't know. And then I seen this channel, and then I was like, listen, I just need to figure out a way to get a haircut off him, because...
Yeah. So what would you do? Would you wait to go back home, would you? Or is that what you normally do?
Yeah, see, 2 of my good friends are barbers back home.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a thing for years where I sit down, don't say anything. You know, the kind of way they generally know what I want.
Yeah, of course.
Because I've always kind of had, before this long hair, I've always kind of had like kind of similar to what I'm getting now.
Okay, yeah.
So going in, I know it's such a stupid thing to say, but it's a weird kind of thing when you're so used to having the same people cut your hair the whole time. Of
course.
And then sit down and you're like...
Yeah, of course. That's why you build a sort of, why you have a regular barber, because it saves that stress of you having to try and, you know, explain what you want every time you go in. Of course, yeah. That's what I like. You know what I mean? I like to be able to sit down and get a haircut without having to worry about it. Of course, I think we all do. But especially when you've built that rapport with them, like you said, the two mates as well. 100%. You know, makes a big difference. Get the back and sides down there. Now I'm cutting this nice and straight, but as you can see, I'm cutting it on a slight angle as well. So I'm working quite low down, because I still want to keep a bit of length through this panel here, because we want it to sit nice and heavy, but we're still with a nice connection as well. So this is creating that nice sort of guideline for me to start my clipper work and give that nice and short effect to the back and sides without looking like we've put a guard on or anything, or a blade or anything like that at all. You see there's still a nice bit of length on there, so we just taper it from about this point, and that's when you start to get that nice top heaviness to it.
I had to get my, I only actually recently got it touched up, like a couple of months ago, because I was going to a wedding. But the problem is that the back of my hair is growing twice as fast. So it almost looked like I had a mullet.
Yeah, that does happen.
So I had to just even it out a little bit.
Yeah. So,
you know, I mean, I don't know how even it is now. I think it's almost like growing back. Just as...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter too much now, if I'm honest, mate, because we're not keeping it. So it doesn't matter too much now. I haven't even looked through it because I haven't needed to worry about that bit, if I'm honest, mate. Because we're just, if we are taking that shorter, it doesn't, the main thing I want to focus on was what the length was like on top. Back and sides doesn't really matter too much if we're copying the hairstyle. Yeah. We're just tapering it off, yeah. So we'll have our guide from the top here. Once I cut into the left-hand side as well, and then that way we'll just graduate everything down. So it doesn't matter too much. The only thing I'm focusing on really is getting the top to sit perfect.
Do you work from back to front?
Do I work? Depends. Depends what I'm doing. For this particular look, I will do, because I'm setting the length in. So I'll start from the back at the crown and then work to the front. Reason being, I can copy the length much more accurately because the sections are much more cleaner. But it depends. It depends on what I'm doing. It depends all on the hairstyle, really. Yeah, that's what it is, really.
You can hear that in the middle of the night.
I just never downloaded the app that pretends you've got the clipper on it. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah. People go mad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My heart would sink if I heard that.
Would it?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not that fussy though. I'm actually not. I've never tried the full shave. I was tempted during lockdown. All my mates were doing it, but I was just like, I don't know. Yeah.
I think looking back now, I mean, I probably should have done it more. I think I should have done the full shaved head, because I used to have that myself, like for years, like as a kid. I kind of wish I'd have done that like now, you know what I mean? But I just never really. I don't know why. I think I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't know for what reason. I don't think I knew how long we were going to be in lockdown for as well. Don't forget, like if you look back, I was convinced it was 3 weeks, and then that was straight back to normal. My clients still booked in, you know, and then obviously it was a lot longer than that. But yeah, it was just one of those things. You've got to kind of just.
It was a risk.
It was a big risk. Yeah, it was. Right. So back inside, I'm going to trim these down now. I'm just going to get gradually shorter to the bottom. Following the guy to the right hand side, and it's getting gradually shorter into the neck as well. I've actually got a very similar neckline to Ryan Gosling as well, in that what you can see from the side. Yeah. Again, keeping that crown with some length in it as well to blend into that top heaviness on the very top. Going for that nice short taper on the bottom.
That was a bit of a weird question, but is there any certain type of haircut you like to cut?
I like to cut.
Yeah. Like, do you prefer to do more scissors work, or do you like to work with the clippers more? Or?
Doesn't really bother me, you know, mate. I'd say if I had to pick, a style, I'd probably do maybe something nice and kind of really heavily textured. The kind of thing I like to do. Whether it's long or short, it wouldn't really matter. It's just more the technique I like to do. So yeah, I utilise a bit of clippers in nearly everything anyway. So I just love doing clipper over comb. I think it's a really impressive thing to do, which is what I'm doing now. I think it adds a lot to a haircut. So it gives a very kind of, it gives a shorter finish without it looking like you've been completely butchered, you know, which is quite nice. My clientele is so varied, mate. I don't really have the one hairstyle that I do a lot of. No, I don't really have the one haircut. No, I have such a mixed bag of clientele. It's hard to say though. I don't just have one really, but that's the reality of our channel as well. Is that we do every single person, right? We don't pick and choose that's going to be the best for a skin fade. That's going to be the best for this. We just do everything and do it to the best we can, you know what I mean? So, you know, some fades don't look as crisp as a guy who's in the chair next, because sometimes just their hair isn't good for a fade, no matter what you do to it. Just isn't good. No, it's not for me to tell them that. Yeah. But as in what I see at the end, you know?
Yeah. I think you've got the haircut spot on.
Looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. Nearly there, mate. Just want to soften it up a bit more though, so you'll have a lot more movement on the top. So obviously the clipper works quite blunt, so when you're doing clipper over comb, obviously you're cutting the shaping, and then I'm just doing the outlining now, just the detailing around the edges, and then I'm going to really chop into the whole head, so then it really falls a lot looser. Now again, his hair will fall a little bit softer as well because his hair's coloured, so it does the more like when you dye your hair blonde, it damages it. It just falls. It's just a really nice texture to have, believe it or not. I think it's a great texture to work with. It moves about whenever you want it to. So.
I was considering it, putting the blonde in just for the summer and then getting it cut down, but I don't know, I just couldn't go through with it in the end.
Couldn't you?
No.
I think it looked quite good actually, man. I think you'd suit it, you know.
I used to do blonde quite a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And my teenagers, whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've had blonde hair. I've had loads of different colours in my hair as well, mate, back in the day. I hope no one knows me on this channel who has photographs of me from back then, because it was pretty atrocious, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was done well, but I just didn't look good with it, mate. It was the Beckham days. It was 2006, so it was the kind of David Beckham Mohawk World Cup days, and it was just, I don't know, but I thought it looked great, so, at the time anyway. I'm going to work into the sides. I really want to soften this now. With a really soft finish. Again, it's that era of when, you know, it was very soft. All the edges were nice and a lot of movement. Wasn't a lot of texture. It was more just like the way it fell was very, very soft on the edges and things. So that's why I haven't done the taper too tight or anything. I'm trying to be as true to the image as I possibly can. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wet this down a touch, and I'm going to dry a bit of grooming cream into it. I want to create a very soft finish to the hair, okay? It needs to be a little bit damp. Now, a little bit of grooming cream, it's this one. Don't need an awful lot. This is by Baxter, California. I'll work this into the hair now, like so. Again, this is application, this isn't styling yet, okay?
So what is it, like the difference? Is this just kind of like pre?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a pre-styler.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dry this in to give you a very nice kind of softer feel to the hair, so the hair falls a bit softer as well, okay? I think we just let that fall naturally, like that, and let it fall over. I think that's the closest you're going to get to that style on your hair texture. And I think we could just finish it off with a little bit of powder, just to kind of have that finish on there, really, to make it look as natural as possible.
I think that's absolutely bang on. That's like the closest haircut I've ever got to what I've asked for.
Is it? Okay, great.
Honestly.
Perfect, mate, yeah. I'm really pleased with it, it looks great. But just when you see the sides in a sec, you'll see the shape and everything.
Yeah.
Let me put a little bit of powder in just to give it a little tiny bit of hold.
So you think like going forward, this is what I should be using, like
for this look, yeah. Because you're just looking to have something that's going to give you a bit of definition, really. That's all you really need.
I have the Claynation at home.
Oh yeah, Claynation's good. Yeah, it's okay. It's just because it's a powder. It's a little bit softer, right? So you don't have as much kind of weight within the hair. So what you'll find is that this will just sit a bit easier for you. It'll sit a little bit. It won't be as, you want it to be a bit of height in there, nothing too major, but you just want a little bit of hold in there, really. That's what you're really looking for. Something that's going to give you a little bit of definition, because it is quite a grungy look anyway, isn't it? If you think about it, like, you know what I mean? It is. So a clay would probably work quite nicely, but I think if you had something that was just a bit more like that, I think it just brings out all the sections, so you start to see the length you've actually got left in there, more than it being like, you know, like as though it's combined together, like it sometimes is, you know. And just run your fingers through it and just make it look like the photograph, you know, make it look worn in a little bit. There we go. And then There we go. And then there is sides in the back. So it's cut in, but you've still got the heaviness at the top and through the sides.
Spot on.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got the weight sitting in there. And then just tapers in. Again, very soft, nothing major. Just like the photograph really is. Best I could really.
Yeah, it's absolutely bang on point.
Yeah, thanks man. Looks great. Thank you
so much.
You're very welcome, mate. Thank you, man. Looks good.
Best haircut I've ever got.